where digital perfection is effortless, people are strangely drawn to imperfection, like it's a brand of nostalgia with dental insurance. For centuries, scratches on film reels, the warm crackle of vinyl records, and the grain in photographs acted as visual fingerprints. Proof that something was real, lived through, or at least shot by actual humans who sometimes missed focus. These flaws weren't just accidents. They became signifiers of authenticity, a kind of coded language telling us how authenticity has become less about being real and more about appearing to be. Instagram filters, for instance, let us add film grain, light leaks, or even simulated camera shake, not to document a moment, but to make it feel like one worth remembering. This is the aesthetic equivalent of wearing vintage clothes just because they look old. The past isn't revered anymore, it's replicated. What matters now is the illusion of sincerity in an era where everything can be mass-produced, algorithmically or other, is often just the right mix of flaws in the right places. The grain that makes your photo look like a Polaroid. The crackle on a vinyl reissue. These are not accidents, but design choices. We have become so used to digital perfection that now we crave it with a side of well-placed noise and distortions, as if authenticity is something you can wear or edit into existence. In music production, we use medi-humanization to make machines sound less mechanical, adding jittery timing and random pitch shifts as a corrective for robotic precision. The idea is simple. If you want a machine to sound like it was played by a fallible human, you must engineer its flaws first. These tiny imperfections are algorithmically distributed across notes, creating the illusion of life in otherwise sterile sequences. It's not just about fixing coldness, it's about faking warmth. AI chatbots are trained not just on language but on error. They learn from typos, pauses, and the occasional ooh in place of you. Programmers mimic human laziness to avoid suspicions, crafting responses that sound less like polished code and more like tired late night typing. The machine is taught to perform distraction as performance, to simulate mental drift, just enough to pass the Turing test without raising an eyebrow. But there's something oddly consistent about these flaws. The AI is so committed to being an AI, like that its imperfections become algorithmic signatures. It's a paradox. The more it tries not to be mechanical, the clearer its machinery becomes. In trying to pass as human, it reveals itself in ways no machine ever intended.
The earliest computers were mechanical beasts of logic, relentless in their binary pursuit of calculation.
Neil Postman's Technopoly warned decades ago that society would shift from a tool using culture to one where technology dictates reality. The problem. Technopoly reduces complex human experiences into quantifiable data points. What once required judgment or nuance is now measured, scored, and optimized. When sincerity becomes an algorithmic parameter, we lose the ability to distinguish between genuine emotion and engineered output. Here's the twist as AI becomes more convincing. Authenticity is no longer a quality. It's a product to be sold. Consider Barthes' camera lucida, and his concept of that has been, which describes the unique presence in photographs. Now imagine that same aura, artificially generated by machine learning models. The AI generated portrait with authentic brushstrokes is just another version of digital alchemy. We're witnessing a new kind of art market, one where deepfake influencers and AI generated letters are sold as authentic experiences. The problem isn't the technology itself, but how it redefines trust as something that can be manufactured. When an algorithm sells us sincerity in increments, we become customers in our own emotional lives.
Nils, could you kind of help us scope the field of artificial intelligence as it exists today?
Well, I'll try, Herb. It's a broad field. If you ask many of different people what constitutes artificial intelligence, I think you'd get a lot of different answers. For me, I think it concerns mainly the putting of knowledge into computer programs so that the programs then can solve certain problems which humans find somewhat easy or perhaps intellectual challenges sometimes.
Welcome to the spoofing loop. The arms race between AI, generated authenticity, and detection systems that only makes things worse. As we develop better tools to identify fake content, adversarial neural networks quickly learn how to bypass those very tools in increasingly sophisticated ways. The result is not just cat and mouse gaming, but a recursive collapse. The more we refine the rules of truth, the faster they dissolve into paradox. What happens when truth becomes a performance and authenticity is no longer something we can trust but must simulate? We're living in what Baudrillard called the hyperreal, a world where simulations have replaced reality itself. Every that has been now feels like it had to be, but even that certainty can be faked. In this new landscape, truth isn't lost. It's just no longer knowable.